the shows after TakeOver traditionally are just the dark matches from TakeOver, so there's never really anything too exciting. It's a lot of recap, it's a lot of post-match interviews from TakeOver, etc. Nothing really to write home about, and this one's really no exception, but I will say there was enough in there to make it a good show. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your May 24th post-TakeOver NXT review. And as I said in the open, we've pretty much come to expect what these shows are. They're in whatever arena that the TakeOver was in this time, was in Chicago, etc. These are actually filmed, unless something's changed, these are filmed before the TakeOver. So these are basically the dark matches of the TakeOver. You know, they're what everybody sees before the actual TakeOver takes place. So there's nothing, they don't want to set out spoilers before the show, so there's nothing really groundbreaking. It's just, you know, here's some wrestling, which is what NXT is really good at. We start off, obviously, with highlights from TakeOver, obviously ending with the turn of Tommaso Ciampa on Johnny Gargano, which was, like, bar none, the best thing that happened that weekend. And then we get into our first match with Aleister Black. I will say, a couple of things. All they told us last week was that Aleister Black was going to be in action this week, which is a great thing on one hand if you like Aleister Black like I do, but it doesn't really tell you anything. It's not Aleister Black versus whoever, it's just he's going to be in action, which 9 times out of 10 means he's going to squash somebody. We'll say Aleister Black still got one of the coolest entrances in NXT, seeing the Aleister Black entrance for the first time in a big, or maybe the second time, in a big arena, and zooming in on some of the crowd who actually knew the words to the music that is playing when he comes out. I don't, and I won't claim that I do. And he's facing Curt Hawkins, so no wonder they didn't announce who he was facing, because nobody would have cared. But start off with a boot by Hawkins, which knocks Aleister Black back on his ass. He goes back into that Indian-style crouch position, and while he's sitting in the middle of the ring, Hawkins tries for a second boot, and from the sitting position, Aleister Black just grabs his boot, you know, sort of pushes him back like a fuck-off type of idea. Kitchen sink by Black and a kick to the chest. Running step-up knee strike by Black caught him under the chin. Tackle into the LED board apron gimmick around the outside by Hawkins and a couple of stomps. Snapmare and a series of kicks by Black. Black mass. Black gets the obvious win. I don't know why Curt Hawkins was a part of the NXT roster tonight, but he got smoked by Aleister Black, and Aleister Black continues to look badass. We then go into all the video material. We go over the tag team title match and Ciampa's turn, and we have the commentators telling us that the doctor, it's so bad, Gargano, the beatdown on Gargano was so bad that the doctors refused to give WWE an update on his condition. Which is bullshit, and even fictionally is bullshit, but I mean, it serves its purpose, I suppose. Ember Moon cuts a promo in the empty arena, and they're doing this a little too much with Ember Moon. Basically, once again, sad that she's not in a particular scenario. Sad that she didn't win a match, or sad that she's not in a match. I liked it when they did it the first couple of times, show her sort of human side, because she's really got that sort of, I don't want to say demon, because there's a Finn Balor reference there, but she's got that sort of dark, mythical type of feel to her when she comes to the ring to fight, and then to show that she's got sort of a more human side was cool the first time they did it, and the second time they did it. Now it's just, she sounds like she's whining a little bit. I mean, it sucks. Obviously, she got legitimately injured. She was supposed to be in this match. Apparently, she did a lot of her indie work in Chicago. And, okay, go ahead and tell that story. I don't mind that, but they're doing this a little too much. Then they recap the women's match. Then they try to interview Asuka when her only response to the attempted interview is, "See this? It's mine." And she just, like, cackles and walks away, which is fine. We get another promo for the Velveteen Dream. And it's that time of the week again, folks, where I say, fuck the Velveteen Dream. We recap Roode, Strong versus Young, which was a good match. I'll put that out there. Roderick Strong, I know they did a lot of packaging on him the last 2 weeks before TakeOver to make us, you know, really feel like we know the guy. I hate to be one of those guys that shit talks NXT all the time, but he's a good wrestler, and that's basically all I got. He's got a wife, he's got a kid, much like the rest of the wrestlers do. I like Eric Young. I love the whole Sandy bit. I wish they were facing somebody I cared about a little bit more. I want to care about Roderick Strong. I really do, because I am impressed with him in the ring. Give me something other than the guy that comes out in a windbreaker like he just left gym class, which is fine and wonderful. And speaking of fuck the Velveteen Dream debuted against some jobber and nobody cared. We recap the UK title match, which was amazing. And I said this in my preview, and I'm going to say it again here. I really feel like when they did the UK tournament, they put the title on Tyler Bate, much like they put the title in the Cruiserweight Classic on a guy like TJ Perkins. You got this guy who's got enough energy, he's fun, he's likable, he's a good guy, and then you bring in a big bad heel to swamp him out afterwards. In the case of the CWC, it was Brian Kendrick, who kind of looks like a crackhead from a truck stop, but be that as it may, the real story coming out of the UK tournament was Pete Dunne, and how he basically fucked with everybody, including William Regal. I like that they used Tyler Bate to introduce the title. I like that they've now brought in Pete Dunne to rip it away from him. Great match. The Chicago crowd really embraced that match, which I thought was really cool. I mean, it happened over in the UK. It's gotten a decent response in the NXT weekly shows. You wondered what an American arena would, how they would respond to that UK, that sort of different sort of mechanical style that these two had, and they were all in, like chips on the board for that match, and I was really happy to see that, because I can't say that I'm going to watch the new UK show, but if they throw a UK title match on every takeover, as I've said for the past little while, treat the UK Championship as NXT's secondary title, I will be interested in those matches, because those guys are good. I like Tyler Bate for what it's worth. I like Wolfgang. I like I can't think of his name right now. Jason something or other. The guy that's got the fucked up ear. I like Wolfgang. I like Trent Seven. These are all. It's very much like the Cruiserweight Championship, in the sense, you guys know I don't watch the Indies. I definitely don't watch British wrestling. But these are names that I've heard in passing. I heard about guys like Kota Ibushi and Akira Tozawa and Noam Dar and all that thing before the Cruiserweight Classic. I heard names like Pete Dunne, like can't think of his name again. Wolfgang, Trent Seven, etc. I mean, in the last vestiges of days when I was still watching TNA, I remember Mark Andrews. He was a bit of a jobber. He was buddied up with Rockstar Spud, and let's just thank God Rockstar Spud was not in the UK tournament. But these are names that I heard whispered off in the distance, and now I have a better appreciation for what they can do. Now, getting back to the UK show, as I said, don't know if I'm going to watch it. I was excited about the Cruiserweights. I do not give a shit about 205 Live now. You got Neville and Austin Aries, who are fighting on Raw. You've got Brian Kendrick and Akira Tozawa, who are fighting on Raw. You've got the whole Noam Dar, Alicia Fox, Rich Swann, and occasionally Cedric Alexander thing, and we see enough of that on Raw to know what's going on. I do not give a shit about 205 Live. I really wish I did. I really wish I did, but I just don't. And there's a lot of wrestling to watch in a week, folks. If you watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and 205 Live, it's getting up to 7 or 8 hours of wrestling, not including pay-per-views, not including the UK show that's coming out, not including any other little minor shows they want to put out there, like the UK special like they did last week, which was great, which I did watch eventually, like the Mae Young Classic that's coming up soon, which I will be watching and I will be reviewing on this channel. But there's a lot of fucking wrestling. Don't know if I'm going to watch the UK show. 205 fell off the map real fucking quick. We recap the NXT Championship match between Bobby Roode and Hideo Itami. I will say, this was a great match. It was the great match that I expected it to be. Hideo Itami getting his moment to shine in what would have been the main event if it wasn't for the tag team match. These two guys had a great match. Fell a little short. And I don't know what I would have wanted from this match, but whatever that intangible is, it wasn't there. You know, to borrow Bobby Roode's old gimmick, this match didn't have the it factor for me. Fantastic match. Technically, in the ring, fantastic match. Something was missing. And I'm trying to say this as respectfully as possible, I'm really glad for that reason alone that it wasn't the main event of the night. But it is what it is. Bobby Roode is obviously going to come back next week on NXT when they're back in Full Sail, and he's going to have his glorious championship celebration, which will be fine and wonderful. And I predict he will start something with Drew McIntyre, but that's just me. Speaking of Drew McIntyre versus Wesley Blake. Now, they're really trying to repackage Wesley Blake, and they're really trying to make him a more serious guy, because him and Buddy Murphy and the fucking rave music and the only thing good about their tag team was Alexa Bliss didn't work, and it ain't doing anything for anybody. So they've repackaged him, and, you know, I think Nigel McGuinness said he's going back to his tough guy roots, because he's originally from Texas. I think his partner was from, like, Australia. So Texas, Australia, that was a weird mix to begin with. But he called out Drew McIntyre last week. For reasons. So we have this match, and this is our main event, and it was actually surprisingly good. I wanted to rip Wesley Blake a new one on this match. I wanted him to get absolutely destroyed by Drew McIntyre. I mean, obviously, Drew McIntyre is the one getting the push. Drew McIntyre is the one going to get the win. Wesley Blake looked good in this match, guys. He really, really did. Collar double type to start, and a headlock by Blake, and a tackle by Drew. Side headlock by Drew, and body blows by Blake. Boot by Drew. Corner chops and a boot by Blake. Corner clotheslines by Blake. Overhead toss by Drew. And because Drew's so fucking tall and built, when he beels him over the head, he basically beels him across the fucking ring. Hangman by Blake, a clothesline, and a key lock. And here's where we go. Here's where I got to give Blake a lot of credit, because the psychology from Wesley Blake from this point onwards is really great, and it's all on Drew McIntyre's arm. I do question that as far as the story they decided to tell, because with somebody like a Drew McIntyre, you figure the body part you're going to want to work on is the leg. Cut off the, not only cut off the height, but cut off the, take the legs out of the table type deal. You know, you can't do all those big powerful moves. You can't do all those big towering throws and suplexes and whatever if you have a bad leg. And especially if he's tall, that's a lot of leg to work on. But they chose to work on the arm instead. First of all, with a key lock and then a cross arm breaker. And then he works over the arm, beating it and wrapping it around the ropes, etc. Boot by Drew in a corner splash and followed up by an axe handle. They trade forearm shots, and Drew hits him with a sky high, which was interesting and fun, and made a bunch of people on Twitter reference D'Lo Brown, who hasn't been referenced in forever. Drew eats posed, shoulder first, working on the shoulder. Crippler crossface by Wesley Blake, working the shoulder. Face first slam by Drew that they called an inverted Alabama slam, which I guess it is, but I'm pretty sure somebody from Scotland doesn't give a shit about Alabama. No, no, no. Codebreaker to the arm by Wesley Blake. Drew's in the Tree of Woe. Not only did they put him in the Tree of Woe, but because he's so fucking tall, when they put him in the Tree of Woe, he smoked his head on the mat of the ring, which is fucking great. Lost my place. Sits up, slams Blake off the top from the Tree of Woe position. Fucking wonderful. Headbutt by Drew, followed by the Claymore kick, gets us the obvious win for Drew McIntyre. Guys, you guys know me. I don't mind at all, and I love coming up here and admitting that I was wrong. I'm not saying that he's getting a push right now. Wesley Blake put on a hell of a show tonight in this match against Drew McIntyre, who, as I say, is clearly getting the push. But he's gone from, in one match, he's gone from somebody that I was laughing at to somebody who's got my attention. They might have something here. Keep him away from Buddy Murphy. Get Buddy Murphy off the fucking show. You don't need him. If he's going to be this sort of like this new Texas tough guy type attitude, he's got the, you know, the stereotypical Steve Austin vest when he comes down to the ring. He's gone back to black ring attire with the Texas flag. So you got all the stereotypes in place. You got a more serious attitude. He's calling out one of the biggest, baddest guys in NXT right now in Drew McIntyre. In a losing effort, still looked fucking great, so congrats to him. Obviously, congrats to Drew McIntyre for the win. I think he's going to get a title shot soon. Just putting that out there. It would be great for TakeOver Brooklyn 3. I don't know what you do with Wesley Blake, but put him in a feud with somebody. Even if you have him be a good guy, have Wesley Blake. If we're going to get this Wesley Blake, have Wesley Blake back up Roderick Strong and a couple of other people, and have another big, like, this clusterfuck of people versus Sanity match. That type of thing I would do. Have a cool moment between Wesley Blake and somebody like Killian Dane if you want to push him as a badass. You could do a whole lot with it. Don't throw him immediately into the title picture just because he had one good match with Drew McIntyre. Don't do that. But you've turned a good corner with Wesley Blake. I'm impressed. I'm potentially ready to say I might have been wrong about this guy. But Drew McIntyre, Aleister Black owned tonight in Chicago. And for a TakeOver follow-up show, it wasn't half bad. Go check it out if you didn't. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.